Now we turn to our must-have apps, and I've got to say this is a favourite category of mine. This is takeaway food apps or takeout apps, as we might describe them. Normally, I would hand over to Warren to introduce an app category, but Warren, this isn't really your bag, is it?
No, it's not because we don't actually even have any of those things in my area. No deliveries of any kind. We don't even have an Uber. And so I am not familiar with, grubbing apps. So I see this to you guys. It's time to eat.
Wowzers. You really must live in a one-horse town. So I'll kick us off then. In the UK, we probably have three main apps, I would say. We have Uber Eats, which definitely exists in North America and other places as well. We have Deliveroo, and we have Just Eat. What I would say about all of these apps is you need to have a look across the apps when you want to order food. They all do similar things. You can go onto the apps, you can order some food from a restaurant, and it will turn up. Many of the restaurants appear across all of the apps, but the pricing is not always the same. So it's quite a complicated thing to work out what is best value for you. At its worst, I've seen a £4 difference for the same meal across two apps.
Wow.
So, yep. That was during lockdown, to be fair, when some of the higher end restaurants came onto the apps, not pre lockdown when it was all just takeaways. But yeah, I have seen a £4 difference. But then you have to look at, well, what are the delivery charges? Because they vary as well. Does that difference cut down to £2.50? Like there is a huge difference, and the restaurants can charge different things. The apps can also discount restaurants differently. Some of that's apps, some of that's restaurants. It's not as simple as going, well, same restaurant, same price, different app. It's not. They'll be differently priced on different apps, and there'll be different delivery fees. And speaking of fees, we have a fee.
Hello.
Which app are you showing, Fee?
I'm going to show Deliveroo, and yes, it does takeaways, but it also lets you pick up takeaways from the restaurant, which again, it's still a takeaway really, but it also does table service as well. I didn't really look into that, but I think that's a post-lockdown thing where you could use it in some restaurants when they've been trying to minimize contact with waiting staff after the pandemic started. So I just thought I'd mention that quick point. I had a slight problem during the demo, because you always have some sort of issue during a demo, don't you? That's part of the thing. Where it wouldn't let me choose the exact curry that I wanted, even though I'd had it before on a different incarnation of the app on my iPhone. Yeah, I just swore I said iPhone on this podcast. Very, very strange it was. But then I have showed another restaurant that would allow me to have the same thing and a different way to get the same thing. It was rather strange. But yeah, it's a very good app, and I use it. Sometimes it is more expensive than some of the other apps, but there are other benefits to it. For me, I just find it the easiest one to use. I tried Uber Eats, and I just wanted to throw my phone across the room, really. It was very annoying and just not very intuitive, and I just, no. So, yeah, it's about personal preference, and sometimes, unless it's a stupid amount, sometimes it can be worth paying a little bit more if it means that you don't get stressed by ordering stuff from a particular app